Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bourbon Basement. My name is Ryan,
I'm Steve.
and welcome back again, once again. Today we're going to be doing what we've been doing the past couple. We're going to have our bourbon. We're going to explain some of the history about it to you, and then we're going to go through our tasting process that we've learned over the few tastings that we've been through physically, and what we've taken from all of them and compiled into one to give you the best tasting experience.
If you haven't watched either of our episodes, this is episode 3. And we do this because I like to have Ryan here on Friday nights to get our weekend started right. And he comes home. And what better way to start with than some bourbon? So, how was your week? Because you just got here 5 minutes ago. He was running late, by the way, folks.
I was not. We went live exactly when we were supposed to. Long week. Yeah, I'm ready for a little sip in here.
Ready for some bourbon. Well, today we got Calumet.
This is a small bourbon compared to the others that we've
It's
done.
a small bourbon. This is the first one like this that we've had, and I'll explain that a little bit. So Calumet Farm Bourbon is it's just honoring Calumet Farm. Calumet Farm is it's a racing farm here in Lexington, Kentucky. It's kind of right next door to Keeneland, and they have they have 2 Kentucky Derby winners. I'm sorry, 8 Kentucky Derby winners, 2 Triple Crown winners, 8 Preakness winners, and 11 horses in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame. So this bourbon is just represents them and the history that they have with Calumet. So it's actually produced by Western Spirits Company. I can't see that, babe. There you go. It's actually produced by the Western Spirits Company and bottled by the Three Spirits Bottling Company. The Now the Western Spirits Company, they're a non-producing distillery, and if you are unfamiliar with non-producing distilleries, they don't distill their bourbon, so they source their bourbon from other places. So when you're going through and looking for the history, you are definitely in spring when that's going on.
Probably, yeah.
But they're a non-producing distillery, so they source their bourbon from other distilleries. But according to the mash bill on this, I think I know which one it is. Doing a lot of research and stuff, they're very secretive about where they get their bourbon, and all of it's going to change. I don't know if the taste of Calumet Farm bourbon's going to change or anything, because I do know that in 2024 they signed a contract to go to the Bardstown Bourbon Company and have them produce their bourbon. So, you got a question?
But I was just going to say, we don't know what to expect because neither one of us has had this, correct?
Well, I have. So, this particular bottle was a gift. It had been opened when it was gifted to me, but they tried it. They are not bourbon drinkers. So it was gifted to me, and I had to try it and see how it was going. So I have tried it. I didn't really judge it. I just wanted to taste it and see what it was like.
I think that this is interesting here, that they actually put this on the label.
Yes.
When you actually go over, we can come back to what that is.
Okay, and I'm going to talk about the bottles, or you can talk about the bottles however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. But there's something that's changing in the bottle too.
I think I've already seen it because I've done a little bit of research. They don't produce this bottle anymore.
That
right?
bottle's done.
Done. So we have a limited edition
all
bottle here.
All bottles look like this now.
I wonder why that is, because I kind of like the way this looks.
I thought that was a classy look. I'm reading online though. Everybody likes the classic wine bottle look, and I'm
it
a
saves
Calumet
space.
Farm fan.
It saves space if you have a bunch of them.
But you got to have a tall shelf. I can't put it down here, which is where this one came from.
To each their own. I think this was a neat bottle.
I do too. I like the bottle.
So we have a rare bottle here from Calumet Farms now.
No longer produced. Short squatty bottles. But we were talking about non-producing distilleries. So what they do is they get their barrels from somewhere else, and not all non-producing distilleries do this, but Western Spirits, once they get their barrels, they buy that distillant in that barrel or that bourbon like young, like day 1, maybe day 10, less than a year old, and they get it a little bit cheaper that way because it's not aged or nothing like that. They take those barrels back to Bowling Green, where Western Spirits Beverage Company is, and they store them in their own rick houses, and then they take care of them. They age them, and they check them. Now, they don't have a master distiller. Guess why? They don't distill bourbon. So what they do have is tasters, and those tasters go around. They check these barrels, and they see when those barrels are correct and are ready to be made. So, but just a little. So I told you that they wouldn't tell you even the source. They don't tell you the source
Right.
of their bourbon, but they do tell you the mash bill. And
right on the label of the bottle.
Right on the label, right here. You can't see it, I know, but the mash bill on this one is 74% corn, 18% rye, and 8% malted barley. Now, there is another bourbon locally to Kentucky, and this is a Kentucky bourbon.
Yes.
So it would have to be distilled, aged, and stored here in Kentucky. There is another bourbon with that same mash bill, and it's the Barton 1792. So, from the research I've done and from whatever everybody else online seems to think, is that's where they get this at. It's distilled by Barton 1792. But nobody
knows
says
for
that.
sure.
It's not confirmed
It's
nor
conspiracy.
denied. So may not be true. You don't go writing that in a biography or nothing and sourcing me as the
You didn't hear that from us.
But that is the way that is. Now, this one is a small batch. I also like the fact that they tell you what's in their bourbon. So this one here is a small batch. It's got 25 barrels of 14-year-old bourbon and 25 barrels of 8-year-old bourbon. So this is an 8-year-old bourbon. Now, Calumet releases 2 8-year-old bourbons, 186 proof and 190 proof. This is an 86 proof. Now, also with the new bottle and the new 8-year-old bourbon comes a new barrels. This one I said was 14 and 8-year-old barrels. The ones that you see on the shelf now are 15-year-old barrels and 8-year-old barrels, which still produce your 8-year-old bourbon.
And this one,
that is 15.
This one's a 15.
That's all 15, and it tells you, I think it's 19 15-year-old barrels went into that.
Barrel size, 19 barrels. It doesn't say 19 15-year-old, but it says 19.
Well, it's 15-year-old, so you know it has to be at least 15 years old. All right, so but Calumet Farm, they release 2 8-year-old 86 proof and a 90 proof this year. That may be down to just one. They may just have one bottle of 8-year. I don't know. But they do release a 10-year, a 15-year, and a 16-year. And just from the reviews and stuff I read, the 15-year was better than the 16. So that's why I've got the 15-year-old bottle here. Now, as far as price goes, you won't find this short squatty bottle. But if you see the 8-year-old Calumet bourbon, you're going to be expected to pay about $45 for that bottle.
About the same price range as Woodford, or
it's about $45, which is a good price point if it's a good bourbon.
Right.
And then, but this one here is a 15-year-old bourbon, and what happens when you age a bourbon longer? It's more expensive. And why is that?
Takes more time. They got to get their money back out of it somehow.
There's more time and less bourbon, right? Because it evaporates. So more time, less bourbon. This one's about $140 a bottle. So you got your Calumet 15 and your Calumet 8. Won't we get to trying some of these?
There's a big space in the spectrum on this right here. Between 8 and 15 years.
There's a big, but it's same mash bill.
Yes.
So everything's the same. This is just aged longer. So,
see, and we can't even really. I know that we get into the tasting, and we're gonna talk more about this, but you can't even really compare the colors of these just because the bottles are so different.
Well, you'll have to put them in the glass and compare, and we can pour them both and then do that. But the other interesting fact, so I looked up. I wanted to tour the Western Spirits Company, beverage company, to see what their barrel houses and stuff look like, just to see, because it doesn't, a lot of these things when I read, they say, oh yeah, we take barrels from the top and the middle and the bottom, or we rotate our barrels, or we do this. I can't find anything about them. They're just kind of a mystery. They just have barrels sitting somewhere and they decide to make some bourbons with it. And
right how they want it.
I mean, they sell $140 bottles of bourbon and 16-year-old bourbon too. So that's pretty impressive for a non-producing distillery, I think. But this is our first non-producing distillery that we've done.
Yes.
So I'm interested in
probably
trying
one one of the few that
Well,
we have.
you'd be surprised how many there are that you just don't pay that much attention to.
That makes sense.
That's the other thing I found when I was researching this.
That it's
Just
not
a
really
lot.
uncommon.
Yeah. So, uh, uh, I say we get on into the tasting and see what we get out of this.
Sorry that I know that he's really big on the
Oh, yeah. Shorter episode, less history.
yeah, a lot of less history, guys. And he loves the historical part behind everything. He likes to know what goes into what he's drinking. And he was telling me when he started researching some of this, he was like, I don't see hardly anything on this, so we're not going to be able to give them anything as far as background and stuff goes.
You know, when you research it, you find out a lot about Calumet Farm, just
But
not the bourbon.
Not the bourbon itself.
That's right. So anyway, let's get on into our tasting. We can do the highlights of a tasting. We've got some coffee beans here for a nose cleanser. We've got some distilled water. After you take a couple sips, sometimes you drop this distilled water in there. It changes the nose profile and the taste profile. And we've got some palate cleansers since we're having 2 bourbons today. Got some water and got some just unsalted bread. So these are just little breadsticks. And then, do you want to pour them both or one at a time? How you want to do this?
We do one at a time. All right. We'll give each of them its own time.
All right, well, we're going to start with the 8-year-old bourbon, 8-year-old Calumet. I love to smell the cork. Whoa, almost knocked our mic off.
And that's officially what it feels like to get smacked in the face. I hope y'all enjoyed that.
I'm going to try these. So, remember us talking? We talked about these on the last episode. I don't know how these work, but this is supposed to be, well, it doesn't even fit in that bottle.
It's not supposed to be anything. No. We'll try that again on the 15 year.
Yeah, we'll try it. Well, it won't fit in that bottle. It looks like a smaller nose or a smaller cap. All right. So we'll just do this. How about a 1.5 ounce pour today? Or do you want all the way up to 2? We're only having 2.
And 1.5 will be fine. I can't believe you tried this without me.
If you do a tasting, guys, if you have never been to a tasting and you go to a tasting at one of the distilleries and you want to see what they got going on, you will not get this much bourbon. Just say
no, it is.
You
get very little. It might be a half ounce pour.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean these out and because do you want to compare the colors or you just want to start talking about it?
Should we do a side by side?
No, let's go ahead. We'll just do it like this, but I will clean these out or I'll get you new ones.
I don't know, because I feel like the 15 year should be significantly darker, right?
It should be. My producer's saying side by side. So you open this, I'll clean these out.
Not that I was the producer.
You're the sound tech guy. Our producer's the one back there pushing all the buttons at us. It's my wife, guys, if you all are wondering. This is a family thing.
She is also an avid bourbon drinker.
One day I'm going to get her on camera because she enjoys bourbon almost as much as I do.
Well, I said avid.
Yeah.
She doesn't enjoy it at home, but loves going on tours and trying and
she drinks it.
Stuff.
When you're not around, she'll drink bourbon with me. She don't like me drink alone, and that's why we're here, guys. Right? We'll be your drinking buddy for the time.
Hey,
that's
the motto yet.
That's one thing I've been meaning to do that I haven't.
If you happen to have 8-year or 15-year Calumet laying around at the house, feel free to play along.
If you got one, yeah, feel free to play along with us and see what you pull out of this. If you don't have one,
get another bourbon and
pretend
like you're drinking Calumet.
Just get a different bourbon and just try to pull the elements out of it. See if anything we do can help you with your tasting.
Well, we might not get into this 15-year.
Ryan's having a hard time over here.
They got it done up like a wine bottle on the top instead of just having a little strap around the cork or something. All right. Where's the blowtorch?
I don't have my knife on me either. Step off camera and get some teeth in there.
We're good.
Okay, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and I'll get a nose on this. Producer, you've crippled me a little bit. I'm smelling the Right, will you bring that over and set it up somewhere? The big one. Yeah, I'm getting the normal nose of the oak in the bourbon rye. Uh, my nose is a little bit different than Rye's. It's not nearly as good as his is.
We got 15 here. All right.
All right. Well, I get oak and caramel the most out of this.
One thing I will give them props for, their packaging is never coming open until you want it open.
Nobody's gonna steal a drink of that.
Good Lord. All right.
All right, let me get another one of these things.
So I'm gonna take you over there and show you
Let's see if they got some good.
the teardrops and then
Okay, we'll do that
the
again.
the color itself. Hopefully you can see that. Okay.
I can see some whiskey tears from here. I don't know if they can. All right. So 15-year coming in hot.
It's got a maker's color to it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's just a real light amber.
Which is not a bad thing. It's a very nice color.
It's not. It looks pretty thin in the glass, but the longer it sits there, I can see some whiskey tears, but not nearly as many develop.
It's actually pretty thin because watch how fast
they
fall. They don't just kind of gradually fall. Look at the speed.
Yeah.
So it is a thinner bourbon compared to some.
It looks thin to me too, and it's just a real light amber. I'm usually a fan of a bigger, a darker bourbon, less orangey. But that doesn't mean that this is bad, and you may be a fan of the orangey ones. It's kind of like racehorses. You got the dark ones, you got the chestnut ones, you got the white ones, you got the black ones, you got the yellow ones. All right, so this is my 15-year right here. Yeah, there's a little bit darkness difference, but really not that much, is there?
Not near as much as what you think.
All right. I'm not going to contaminate my nose. I'm sorry, guys. Let me refresh. I'm going to go back in one more time. Rye, have you done a nose of your 8-year yet?
I've not. I've been too worried about the color.
All right. I'm still pulling out caramel and oak. That's about all I'm getting out of it. Caramel and oak.
I'm getting like a honeycomb.
Getting some sweet honey smells in there.
Honey and it's another one of those where it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't actually think of what the smell is that I'm smelling.
Now, if I put honey in my mind, let's see if I can help you. No, caramel and oak.
You're not getting no honey?
Caramel and oak. Not getting any honey at all.
I mean, it's sweet. There's no savory to it.
It's sweety. I smell the sweet. There isn't really anything. It just smells sweet. It doesn't smell florally sweet. It smells sugary sweet.
Sugary sweet.
All right, I'm ready to go for a taste.
It's got a nice smell to it.
Remember that, guys? That first one is all acclimation.
Where's the burn?
First, I got it. First one's acclimation. But we kind of put it in our mouth. We move it around for 5 to 10 seconds. Get your mouth feeling that burn. Are you getting any heat now?
No.
You're getting none. See, I've got it. It's all over my tongue.
I think this is smooth.
And it's on the side of my cheeks right now. So, the second drink.
This is the 8-year, by the way.
Yeah. Second drink, we do the same thing. And we don't start judging those flavors until that third drink. Now, we say this about every episode. By that second one, especially if you're new to bourbon, first one's going to burn a bunch. Second one, you're probably not going to feel much, maybe some tingles.
Even if you are new to drinking it.
When you get that, when that settles down, you try your third one. and really try hard to pull out those flavors.
So this is where we're actually going to start deciphering what we're getting on our palate here.
Yep. And I will tell you, if you are at a professional tasting, they'll try to tell you what it tastes like. Everybody's palate's different. You're not going to be wrong. They'll ask for stuff in their way. What are you getting? And you'll throw out stuff, and they'll be like, "Okay, yeah, that's
great."
I don't get it
because I don't get
great.
any of that.
Yeah, but they tell you what it's supposed to taste like. But I think that biases your opinion if you know what it's supposed to taste like, because then you're looking for those flavors and you're missing out on something that you might get on your own.
On your own,
yeah.
Instead of.
So let's go for that third one. Save some for a fourth watery one.
Oh, I got another.
All right. I still get like the alcohol. I get like an alcohol taste up in the back of my throat going to my nose on the swallow. So I got like a rubbing alcohol, not a alcohol.
I'm still with the honey, but now it's a floral honey, and it's like a honeysuckle. Because as a kid, I used to pull the stems out of that honeysuckle, and I actually used to lick it. I don't know if you were supposed to do that or not, but I did it. I would sit there on the side of Nanny's house, and I'd go to town on them. So I'm getting that, and then I'm also getting like and it might just be this. I might be smelling this, but I'm getting like a mocha frappe kind of. It might be that.
And I'm totally different. I get the normal bourbon notes of that oaky barrel, a lot of vanilla.
See, I get the oakiness, but I just kind of like toss it to the side now because you're supposed to get oak.
You're supposed to get oak, and some of them you're going to get more oak than others.
But I mean,
some
of
them you're going to get a real smoky oak.
I guess for them we should specify. Hey,
I'm going to try, but
you can taste the barrel.
Well, then that tells you a more refined palate. You're going to be able to pull out more refined flavors.
Yes.
My palate, I've been drinking bourbon for a couple of years now, neat, and my palate is still growing. But I'm always up front with the oakiness and the honey, or not the honey, the caramel and the vanilla. Those are like three flavors I almost get out of everything. So when I get that, I'll tell you all that, but now I'm trying to look for something different, and I'm not tasting it with this one.
And I've done 4 drops of distilled. All right, see what we can change.
Distilled water, guys, that's just boiled water. It means it has no taste, so it doesn't change the flavor of your bourbon, but it will cut that proof down a little bit. And it does, however, bring out more aromas and different taste. So if you can, I'm not getting any. Did you get any new aromas?
No.
I just got milder aromas of what I had.
No, but the distiller's water actually created more of a burn for me. Might have opened the floodgates or something in there.
Has a little bit of spice with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's more savory to the tongue rather than sweet with the water.
Lose some sweetness with the water. I agree. I get a little bit of that spice in there. Still a lot of oak. Still a lot of vanilla. It's good bourbon. I mean, I would drink this bourbon. I don't know that I'd buy it over Woodford or something else, but it's a good bourbon.
I'm still just trying to figure out what I've tasted. I'm kind of. It's kind of got me puzzled, and bourbons normally don't do that to me.
Well, that's an interesting way to go. Then, if you're puzzled by the taste,
I am puzzled.
That's intriguing and makes you want to drink more.
Because I'm normally able to pull out more than at least 2 flavors that are really standing out to me, and I couldn't even pull out a flavor on the second. It was just a spicy, savory rather than honeysuckle on the first one. Very strange.
Okay.
It's not a bad strange. It's a very good bourbon.
So between the bourbons, we're trying 2 different bourbons. We're drinking water to cleanse our palates, eating some bread, no salt, no nothing on it, so you don't get that bias on your throat. And when we're ready to go, we'll start judging this 15 year. So 8 year. Let's start. Let's start starring them. 5 stars, great. Or do you want to go 10? That gives you more
I was
flexibility.
about to say
Let's go 10 stars.
that
10
specter's
stars
gonna
is
get real
great.
tight.
10 stars is great. No stars, you can even put half stars in there. What do you go with Calumet?
As
The 8
far as
year.
as
8
far
year.
as everything combined, as far as price and taste and smoothness, and I'm probably gonna go 4.
And I was thinking 4.5. And I wasn't even taking in the price and the smoothness. I was just taking in that I really like this bottle,
If
even
we're
though that's gone.
if we're comparing, I'd give Woodford an 8
Okay. So that, wow,
for the same price range.
get you a whiff of this one.
Oh gosh. You know, I think that's where I got the mocha from. I think it wafted up into my
Well,
nose.
you may have got the mocha from this, but they will give you this stuff at tasting. So
Keep the lid on it.
yeah. I will tell you the first thing I nosed on that was fruit. Just fruity fruit. A lot of it. Almost like
It's so strong.
almost like fruity pebbles. Fruity pebbles cereal.
I mean, I'm thinking sweeter than that.
It's very sweet.
I'm getting
Very vanilla and very fruity.
I'm getting a sourness, like what is it? Citric acid
Yeah.
that they put on sour candy. I'm getting like, have you ever just stuffed your nose in a bag of citric acid? That's what I'm getting here.
I'm not getting that. I'm just getting super sweet, like
I did not expect that.
like a Gatlinburg, Tennessee candy store. When you walk in,
Yes.
you smell all that sweetness just hit you in the face.
And you can't pull out one smell rather than the
No,
next.
because they're all in there. That's what I've got here. It's just a blend of sweet, and I get some vanilla in there if I try real hard. And I told Ryan I watched
weird.
I watched a couple of our episodes, and I told you I thought we smelt too long. But I think smelling is the hardest thing on it. All right, let's get some taste.
You're not kidding though. Like, can you pick out one individual thing?
No. I mean, I can make something up, but
wow,
no. It's like walking into a Gatlinburg candy store, and you just all that sweetness hits you.
This is not a bad thing, but no, it just makes it confusing.
It's good. It's just real confusing, and
I was not expecting that. I thought that this would be more savory.
On my first one, even though it's my second drink, this one's got better whiskey tears. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Did you look at the color? It's a little darker, amber, less orangey.
It's much thicker though.
Less orangey. It looks a lot thicker.
I'm not gonna reacclimate on my first sip. I've already acclimated.
I always do. I do them all the same, so I'm going to move it around in my mouth a little bit. Well, that's my first one, and I'm not judging flavors or nothing, but I already like it better than the 8 year.
It's obviously got more burn than the 8 year. It's a higher proof, it's a higher alcohol volume, and it's been usually when you age something longer than that, it's gonna have that extra burn on top of it. But for what it is, what is this? 105 proof?
Yes,
I believe is what it is. It's very smooth for 105. You get more of the savoriness when you drink it, but you're also getting sweetness too. It's a sweet and spicy kind of feeling. I don't know if that makes sense.
I get a lot of spice even on my second drink. I still got my tongue is still burning. It carries that spice a long time because it's got a real thick chew. Ryan hates me to say that term. I guess a chew.
A chew.
Well, it's in your mouth and you're feeling it around. It's got a thick chew though, and with that, I think that burn stays around a little bit longer for me. Let's just try to pull out some flavors. You've probably already done it, but
I mean, I said I wasn't going to say it, but you're obviously getting the oak. You're getting a lot more of the oak out of this because it's been in the barrel twice as long.
I get smoky oak.
smoky. It kind of reminds me of the smokiness of a double oak Woodford.
Almost, but a lot more bite.
Yes,
Woodford's a lot smoother.
smoother.
This is very heated.
It is spicy.
Yes.
Spicy, savory, but also sweet. I mean, I can get vanilla out of this.
I get some vanilla. I get the oak. I get the spice. Kind of a toffee, kind of.
So we're back in the candy store.
Yeah, but that's the only sweetness I get. The rest is uh, a sweet or a spicy. It's almost like you've taken a spicy chili pepper. It does not taste like, I don't taste chili peppers, but after you eat the chili pepper, your mouth burns, and that's the burn I got. My mouth is still burning.
Honestly, it does linger a bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it's still on my mouth.
It's not a bad burn, but it's like a mild heat on the back of your tongue, like you're eating a buffalo wing and it just kind of simmers back there.
I know I've drinking. I know I have drunk a spicy bourbon.
We are less than 3 ounces of
Ain't
bourbon
even. Yeah, I'm not drunk. I promise. I'm gonna proof it down a little bit with some of this distillers.
Okay, now I'm
shake it back up.
Now I'm back on the honey track.
Did you
proof with the water?
It cut down some of the sweetness in the smell, or maybe it's just because my glass is almost empty. I get more.
Wow.
I get more corn with that.
Calumet, props to you because I don't get stumped like this, but this is hard. This is difficult.
I get more corn. We should have waited until we were more proficient.
I'm not. I don't. I'm not smelling anything bad. There's no bad smells or tastes that are coming out of this, but I cannot decipher specific tastes or smells out of this. Boy, look at the whiskey tears there. How satisfying does that look?
That's one of my favorite parts.
Wow.
I love a thick chew. So I can see it on the glass. Is just pretty to me. I think that I would enjoy this one. Now, usually 105 proof isn't too spicy for me. This one has a lot of heat behind it.
The water made it spicier.
It's got a slightly dry
finish.
Yeah, and see, I think the water toned the spiciness. I was just going to say that I would probably want this with a cube of ice in it. I think I would enjoy this one on the rocks instead of just neat. The first one, I think if you put it on the rocks, it's going to get too watered down. It's not going to be strong enough.
On the very back end of it, I'm getting cinnamon-esque. So like a cinnamon roll sweetness.
Yeah.
That's like on the back end.
It's a sneaky sweet. It's got a sneaky sweetness.
What an experience though.
Wrong cork.
All right. My mind has been sent for a loop. My taste buds have been thoroughly confused. But nothing was unenjoyable at all. I enjoyed both of those very thoroughly.
All right, so we're doing star scales now. 4.5.
This has got to be on a completely different spectrum, though. Like
it's a bourbon, man. It's a Kentucky bourbon, and that's what we do.
Okay, well, I gave that 4 stars, and it's a $40 bottle.
Yeah.
Is it even comparable to a $140 bottle?
There can be $140 bottles that get 2 stars. I mean, you just may not like them. Now, that's what makes you wary about buying such an expensive bottle without ever trying it and all that. So.
Well, neither one of these were bad experiences, folks. I'm frustrated with myself because I don't struggle with palate and stuff like that, and it's kind of, I feel like my pride's take a hit on that.
It was a very interesting flavors.
Calumet won this battle against me.
It was very interesting flavors. We pulled out a bunch of them, but this one here, Calumet Farm, good. Low proof bourbon, 86 proof,
smooth,
easy to drink.
Yes.
I would drink it neat. I think if you put ice on it, it's going to water it down too much. I would not use it in any mixed drinks because it's too expensive of a bottle.
I mean, unless you're just built that way and you just want to go for
it. That's right.
I'm sure it's great with a bourbon and coke.
But you know, as far as I'm glad I got it, and I'm glad I've tried it, and I'm glad I own it. But as far as me going and getting a daily drinker, I would probably stick with Woodford or something like that, about the same price comparison
for the same price range, especially,
and stay with that because I do enjoy them a little bit better.
And this is non-biased opinions. I know that we said that Woodford in our last episode was our house bourbon, but we just like it that
good.
much.
It's good, so we compare other bourbons to it. It's
especially
kind of
the
our
same price range.
It's kind of our scale of what we judge by. If you say Woodford was a 6, then you can go. You've got 4 stars to go better than Woodford, and you've got 6 stars to go lower, and that's kind of what I was.
So you'll hear us mention Woodford as far as the spectrum goes a lot on this podcast.
So Calumet 15-year. Pleasant bourbon, pleasant surprise with the different smells and aromas you get, the different taste on your palate that you get.
I was not expecting it to be as sweet as it was.
A ton of spice.
It was, I guess, nose. It was nosing very sweet.
Very sweet, but it tasted very hot to me, so it was a surprise there. Maybe one of the spicier bourbons I've had in a while.
And it's only 105 proof.
And it's only 105. I've had 105 proofs that's really smooth.
Really smooth.
So I would probably rate the Calumet 15 at, if I gave this one 4.5, I would do that one 6.5 stars.
I give that one a 4. I enjoyed this one more. 5.5.
So just a little bit more. I enjoyed it more. We enjoyed it a little bit more.
I feel like there's a lot on this shelf back here, and there's a lot of room for improvement from these. Not that these were bad. No. These were not bad whatsoever. Enjoyed both of them very much, but I just feel like there's much better out there.
Haven't found a bourbon that we haven't liked yet.
I'm not taking a sip of bourbon and spit it out, you know?
No. So Calumet 15, better than Calumet 8. And
to be expected.
Way more expensive.
To be expected, that is.
Double, triple the price.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Anyway, both are pleasant experiences. Don't take our word for it. If you want to go try it, I would recommend getting this one, unless you're just built different and want to go all in and get the $140 bottle. But it's not a bad bourbon. It's about the same price range as the other ones that we've done thus far. We did Mager's, which is about $35 a bottle. Then we did, if you get the regular small batch Woodford, about $45, $50 a bottle, depending on where you go. And then another one that's about $45. So these are all very good starting ranges if you're wanting to try different bourbons. I mean, you won't see
a good Kentucky bourbon. A good Kentucky
all Kentucky, bourbon. Yes. But they're not bad starting points. So if you wanted to get into it, try it. Let us know what you think. See if you can pull any of the flavors out that we couldn't, because my pride's taking a hit hard on this one because I could not pull out any specific flavors. It didn't seem like.
Leave us some comments if you do try it and tell us what flavors you pulled out. Maybe when we drink the rest of these, we can look for those flavors that you're pulling out.
I'm going to use the excuse that it was my first time ever trying it.
You've tried a lot of them for the first time. Not an excuse.
That's messed up.
Sorry for such a short episode, but we got plenty of time to drink some more bourbon now.
Well, that's also true, but not all of them are going to be like that. But there's a lot of bourbon up here on the wall. A lot of it has a lot more history than the others, and some of them will be hour and 15-minute long episodes. Some of them will be.
What are we going to do next week?
That's another thing that we forgot to mention last week on our outro here. We will do this thing. We're supposed to be getting a wheel.
It's at our daughter's house, and we don't know when we're going to get that.
So we're supposed to be getting a wheel. We're going to put a handful of different bourbons on there every week and spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on is what we'll do the next week over.
It's like bourbon roulette.
Or we'll take comments in the comment section, or if there's multiple comments, we'll take the most liked comment in the comment section. That's what we'll do in the upcoming week. But this week, I think we should do... I've picked the last 2 weeks, so you go for it.
I'd say we just do a surprise. Let's give them 2. I'll pick one, you pick one, and then we'll surprise them with which one
we'll flip a coin next episode.
I think next episode I want to do the 1897 Bottled and Bond Old Forester. I love the Old Forester Statesman, so I've been wanting to try that one, and I haven't got a chance to.
I want to do Booker's.
Booker's, nice.
That spoiler alert. That's kind of a big boy bottle. Uh, it may be on the bottom shelf up here, but there's a lot of nice bottles up here. But all that being said, guys, so we're gonna shoot between those two next week. We'll flip a coin. We'll do something that decides a 50-50 at the start of the episode next week, and we'll just wing it as we go as far as the tasting goes. You sure you want to do that?
Yep.
You just gonna have the history off the top of your
I'll
head?
study both of them.
Oh gosh. Right. We'll see. He'll have homework this week. All right. Anyway, guys, do you have anything else for him?
No.
Thank you all so much for giving us a little bit of time out of your day. Like I said, please be sure to comment in the comment section if there's any Kentucky bourbons that you would like us to try here on the show, or if it's another bourbon, we might not do it on the show, but we will take suggestions if you just feel like there's something out there that you want us to try, and we will let you know how we think about it. If you like what you see, we're live on YouTube and Twitch every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stop in, give us a holler. Spread the name The Bourbon Basement around to all your friends, family, whoever you want to. Stop the nice guy at Walmart.
No spaces.
No spaces. Yep. The Bourbon Basement with no spaces. We might have to edit that a little bit because it is a little difficult for people to find us. But if you look up The Bourbon Basement with no spaces, we will show up. We are slowly growing our video library, but we are at least once
episode 3.
At least once a week is what we've been doing, and sometimes we'll throw an extra one in there, but that's all to be determined on the go, basically, because we don't really plan a whole lot other than Fridays at 6 p.m. But all that being said, guys, once again, appreciate you all giving a little bit of time out of your day. I've been Ryan.
Steve.
And this has been The Bourbon Basement. And as always, why drink alone?
When you can drink with us.
We'll see y'all next week.
Hey, can I have a hug?
No.
I'll just have another Kentucky hug then.